Well, long time no see, guys. So I intend for this to be the first video back after my unintended hiatus, so I just want to put a quick explanation right at the start.
Essentially, I was offered an excellent opportunity at work, which was temporary, but essentially meant that I was going to be working full-time for a bit. I also casually finished my Masters. About 2 weeks ago, I submitted my Masters dissertation. As you can imagine, working full-time was right, and that took a lot of time, so this was just not a priority, unfortunately. But I do miss it, and I fully intend to be back.
Which is kind of appropriate because the video that I'm making right now is 11 months late. And this is my 2022 makeup empties video. This is the makeup that I used in 2020. We're gonna, same as always, talk through the products, and normally I give a quick review. Honestly, I can't remember most of my opinions on these products because it was a long time ago, but I am going to go through all of the stats. This also marks 2020 is the 5th year that I have done this, which means that I can go and look at all the makeup that I wore over the past 5 years. I do intend to do this for 2023. I imagine that video will be coming out pretty soon, as it is November. But I will be posting that a little bit later. Obviously that marks 6 years, so we're going to backtrack, pretend that it's January. I am filming this on the 11th of October, but I intend for it to come out in November. So let's just skip straight to 2020 and see what products I used. So, update, got everything ready to film this video and went to go look at my spreadsheet, and all the information on it has gone. So we're about to cut to probably a different day because my dinner is in the oven, so I'm probably not going to be able to film that today. Okay, so we're back. I'm looking significantly less glamorous than I was in the last video. Let's just cut out a little bit of my kitchen and walking stick collection there. The struggles of filming in such a small space. Okay, so I have the data all here. I realise that by the time you see this it might be December. This is very, very late, but it is not about the time period, it is about the data. I track all of the makeup that I use in a year and I put it into one giant spreadsheet, and I work out all the averages, or rather Excel works out all the averages, and then I'm going to talk about it. This spreadsheet will be linked in the description, so you are free to have a look at it. Now, following this trend right the way back from 2018 when I started, I have used less makeup. I have used less and less makeup every year as time has gone on. That I split the makeup into 3 categories: lips, eyes and face, because those are, to me, the 3 main categories. Eyes is normally the one that has the biggest chunk, just because I like doing my eye makeup, and then it's normally followed by face and lips. So if we look at the data for lips in 2020, I used 2 different lipsticks. I finished Always On liquid lipstick and a lip gloss from Tom Ford. Now, some of these I can't find the prices or the weights for. In those cases, I've just left it blank. Obviously, that does skew the averages for this year, but my thinking is that when we look at the average for 5 years, it does start to, you know, blur that a little bit. So the Always On liquid lipstick was 4 grams. I've put this down as £4. It's not £4. 4 grams and cost £22. Now this is by far the most expensive lipstick I use on an everyday basis, but I really like it. And then the Tom Ford lip gloss, I don't have an amount or a price, so obviously when it comes down to this, it looks like the average is £22 for that year spent on lipstick, which comes to about 6p a day, but it is probably higher than that. Okay, so the next largest category is face, and I finished 3 products. I finished True Match Perfecting Powder from L'Oreal, Lasting Finish Makeup Primer from Rimmel, and Primer Water from Smashbox. It looks like I didn't finish one foundation in this year, which is wild. The amount together comes to 44 grams. I should also say as well that I'm counting a milliliter as a gram. They're not exactly the same, but they're close enough that I'm counting them, and it would make it very, very difficult to work out weights if I did them all individually. Again, the data in this is not perfect. I am not a mathematician, I'm just doing the best I can. So yeah, that comes to 44 grams total, which is about 0.12 grams a day. That is about 10 times as much as lipstick, which makes sense because I probably have more than 10 times the amount of face here than here. Okay, so eyes is the biggest category with 6 products finished. 3 of them were mascaras, and then we have 2 eyeshadow singles, one from Inglot and one from Urban Decay, and then I have an eyeliner. In this case it was a pencil eyeliner rather than a liquid one. Total known weight of those products comes to 21.2 grams. Yeah, so that comes to 21.2 grams, which is about half of the face weight, which is 44 grams, and that comes to 0.06, I'll round up, 0.06 grams a day. In total that comes to £38.69, which averages at 11 pence a day. But if we look at all that in total, my most common brand was Smashbox and my most common item was mascara. I think that's probably stayed quite consistent over the past few years. I finished 11 products, which is not a lot. I would imagine that most people who are into makeup are buying way more than 11 products a year. This is going to be lower, start getting lower and lower as I take on more hours at my job. Last year I did a lot more hours at work. I work in 2 different places, same company, 2 different locations. One of them I can't wear makeup, and I was doing a lot of hours there, so that probably did impact this. In total, the total price of products was £84.66, which comes to a daily average of 23 pence. I don't think £84.66 is unreasonable at all. I also don't think a lot of that was my money. I tend to ask for makeup as gifts for Christmas and my birthday, so I would estimate that a lot of that I didn't spend. Total known weight of products is 69.2 grams, which comes to an average of, rounding up, 0.2 grams a day. So daily, really not significant at all, but this is an average. As I said, there was quite a few days where I wouldn't have been wearing any makeup. So I finished 11 products in 2022, but looking at 2021 I finished 24 products. A lot of the time me finishing these products is me trying to finish things that are already finished, and as I do this challenge more and more and more, I'm going to be starting products and ending them in the same year. Now it might sound real gross that I'm using makeup that's 5 years old, but you can't tell me that you don't have eyeshadow singles that are like 5 years old. I think everyone does, and I'm trying to get through them. So and also again the work thing, so it's significantly dropped from 24 items to 11 items between 21 and 22. And the total known price of products in 2021 was £228.39, which comes to a daily average of 63 pence. Now that average is significantly lower in 2022, down to 23 pence a day. Let me do some very quick maths. So in 2021 the average product cost £9.51, and then in 2022 the average item in 2022 costed £7.70, rounding up, which is less, which is also going to contribute that as well. So looking at the total amounts over the last 5 years, which I think for me is by far the most interesting bit. Again, if you want to go through this in more detail, the full spreadsheet will be in the description. Also, if you notice any mistakes, please let me know, because I'm not good at this at all, but I try my best. Over the past 5 years, the total number of lip products that I use is 22. Now 22 in 5 years I don't think is a lot at all. I think there's a lot of people out there who will have more than 22 lipsticks, and I'm telling you here that you probably won't use them in the next 5 years if you have more than 22. Comes to the amount is 66.17 grams, and the total price is £217.99. That averages to about 12 pence a day over the past 5 years, and about 0.036 grams on my face a day. 12 pence a day I think is perfectly reasonable. That's probably more than most people spend on lipsticks. I think that's the thing, that I buy fancier lipsticks, and I also wear a lot of really bright lipstick. I don't know, because I don't know anybody else who's done this. So for eye products, I've used 60 eye products, which I think to me makes sense. A lot of them will be mascara, which I use a lot of even when I'm not wearing full face of makeup. I quite often just wear mascara. Eyeliner, we all know how much I love my eyeliner. I use it a lot. And then eyeshadows, which I do like to completely finish. I tend to pick like one colour and I'm like, I'm using this every day until it's finished, and that will be my thing for the next 6 months. Which comes to 138.4 grams, and that is £397.69, which comes to 22 pence a day. Face, the amount of products I've used is 47. I thought it would be lower than that. 47 I don't think is particularly high though, if you take into account that most of the time when I'm doing a full face of makeup, I will use primer, foundation, bronzer, highlighter, blusher, and then a powder and possibly a setting spray. So 47 I don't think is actually that many, but I think I don't use large amounts of these products, which comes to 591.5 grams and £383.17 over the past 5 years, which comes to 21 pence a day. Interestingly, I used 60 eye products and 47 face products. However, the price for both of them is very, very similar. So for eyes, I spent over 5 years £397.69, and for face, I spent £383.17. They are very, very close in number. 22 pence a day for eyes, 21 pence a day for face. I think, taking into account sort of error margins, that we could probably say that I have spent essentially the same amount of money on eye makeup and face makeup. That's a total of 129 products over the past 5 years. The total known price is a tiny bit under £1,000. It is £998.85. The average price of the product was £7.74. Daily average was 55 pence a day, which I think is quite high. 55 pence a day is actually quite a lot, which equates to 796.07 grams over 5 years, which is about 0.43 grams a day. This has varied a lot. The difference between the makeup I wore in 2018 and the makeup I wore in 2020 were very different because they were 2 very different years. If I look at 2018, I finished 43 products, but then if I look at 2020, I finished 18 products. So these years are going to vary a lot. In 2018, I was 19 years old. What was I doing? I think I was in my first year of uni, and now I finished my master's degree and I have a job and I've like moved into my own place and like, yeah, well, not mine, I'm renting it. So my life has changed a lot between 2018 and 2022, so it's kind of hard to... Oh, also the pandemic. Why did I forget about that? There was also that thing in the middle. I think if you're watching this and you haven't tracked your makeup for the past 5 years, like the complete weirdo that I am, you're probably wondering what can I learn from this? And what I have learned from this, and what I think you can learn from this as well, is that you use a lot less makeup than you need. A lot of people like to hoard makeup, and that was the reason I started this, because I was the same. I hoarded makeup as well. When I actually sat down and worked it out, I do not need that much. Using 2 lipsticks in a year, I think is perfectly reasonable, a perfectly reasonable amount, and you're probably not going to use much more than that. However, I bet you buy more than 2 lipsticks a year. If you're watching this video and you're interested in this kind of thing, if you're interested in makeup, you probably buy more than 2 lipsticks a year. So if you do want to buy the fancy expensive ones, you could probably justify buying it once for the whole year, because looking at this, at least in my experience, you lose a lot less than you think you do. I have a lot of thoughts about this. I've made quite a few videos about this sort of long-term project that I've been doing, so if you do have any thoughts about it, let me know down in the comments. I will be doing this again next year. I know that the data isn't perfect, but as far as I'm aware, I am one of the only people, if not the only person doing this. So the data might not be accurate, but it's more data than most people have about their makeup spending habits. So yeah, if you're going to do this yourself, I would really encourage it, and if you look at the spreadsheet in the description, feel free to sort of copy it and duplicate it and use it for your own purposes, and if you do, please tell me how it goes. I'd be really, really interested. And also, I have a whole bunch of makeup empties that I've been hoarding for the past like 2 years, so if any of you have any suggestions as to what I could do with them, let me know, because I've got like a bag full and I need to get rid of them. So yeah, any requests or questions, leave them down in the comments. I make videos whenever I can these days, but I aim for every other Wednesday. And I will see you next time. Bye!